Well, greetings and thanks for joining us today on episode number 117 on Light Bulb Moments, a weekly roundtable. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All of these episodes are recorded and stored on YouTube. If you're joining us live, great. If you're watching it by YouTube, we hope you enjoy this session. I'm Tom Kuhn. I'm host and curator of Light Bulb Moments. Remember, money isn't the most important thing in life, but it's reasonably close to oxygen on the gotta have it scale, as is well said by Zig Ziglar. At Qnity, what we're here to do is to help you go from the squiggly head to one that's a clear path towards greater prosperity for you, using the new rules of engagement, which is simple, visual, and actionable. Remember to prosper, manage your ATM, the three currencies we have in life, which are attention, time, and money. And thank you for joining us today. It's not lost on us that you're spending your precious attention and time with us. So thank you. We love hearing from you. Last week, we had a very, very special guest. All our guests are very special, but this one also included an announcement, a very generous announcement by a very talented individual by the name of David Rakulia, who was a world-class portrait photographer. And is well steeped into the beauty industry as the founder of American Crew and a current salon owner and a fellow member of Beauty Changes Lives board. So it was a great session. Check it out. Today, we are going to go through the Impact Award winners. These are the submissions that has been happening over the last few months. And we will officially be announcing them to the community. The winners already know who they are. We have several winners joining us today. Time permitting, we're going to invite them to the mic. So I'm super excited about this session today. At Qnity, we're really bringing financial wellness for pro beauty, whether it's in our Money EDU program for students, Money Pro, which is financial wellness for professionals, and Money SBO standing for small business owners, as well as those that think and act like an owner in your company. Last call, I think we've got 11 tickets left, is my understanding. Who would have thought in the second year of the conference that we would sell out, and we have a big jump in attendance, and we have a corresponding big jump in what's going to happen. There's a lot of really great stuff that's going to happen at the Phil. It's going to another level, and the community is growing larger. It is not too late, I think, for conference tickets. So you can go to our website, and I'm sure someone will put it in the chat here for you. It's in Austin, Texas. I do believe the room cutoff may have already happened. I'm not sure. We'll save that for that. Today, I want to, for those of you that are signed up, just some public service announcement. The app is set up for those of you attending the conference. You should have, I believe, gotten an email. Here is the access code, and this is where we've already stored the agenda, attendees, some of the special excursions we have. So definitely you want to download this app and do it ASAP on the app. And start getting excited like all of us are. So also sign up for Light Bulb Moments. Many of you, a reminder that we have an event within the event on Sunday night. We have our second annual Light Bulb Moments at the Phil, which is a Beauty Changes Lives fundraiser, which will help initiatives that we all care about, and that's making beauty as a first choice career, beauty and wellness. And so if you haven't signed up for that, you should sign up. That's a separate registration. It's $100. That $100 goes directly to Beauty Changes Lives. We have some great programming. It's also when we're going to celebrate the Impact Award winners, and then also reveal who our 2 golden light bulbs go to this year. So if you haven't signed up for Sunday night, it's 5:30 to 7 o'clock. Go ahead and do so. A lot of you are signed up for the conference, but you haven't signed up for Sunday night yet. We will be having a silent auction. We announced that last week with David Rakulia, who is generously donating 20. We might be down to 15 at this point because I think 5. Well, actually, it's a bidding process. So bidding is open. And I'm sure that Michelle will put in the chat anything we need to know about go to the silent auction because there's some very exciting and cool things on there. The conference theme is Zoom in, Zoom out. My light bulb moment last week had to do with mental health. And I shared at the time that there had been a school conference. This was 10, 12 days ago. And there was a lot of discussion, not new discussion, but a couple things hit me over the head. When schools had said that the number one issue they're dealing with, number one, is the mental health of their team and their students. So fast forward to today, I am pleased to announce that we will be having Melissa Doman, who's an expert on the subject of mental health in the workplace in particular, will be joining us for a main stage session, as well as a roundtable discussion. So we're super excited about this. We also want to give a shout out to Pivot Point. Pivot Point helped sponsor this segment. Pivot Point is very progressive and on the leading edge when it comes to issues in pro beauty. So they're not only helping to sponsor this mental health segment at the Phil, but they're also helping to sponsor a special segment we also have on schools and salons working together in unity to solve some of their respective challenges, including human capital challenges. This segment, mental health segment, is also sponsored by Benefits by Qnity, which is the offering arm of Ally Health, which is a virtual, affordable mental health solution. Not the only solution, but certainly one that's affordable, and it's a great first step. Data matters. Just a reminder, we've got compensation project in the works right now. Right now what's open is between 1 to 10 locations. It's a very simple process. Fill out the survey and then go ahead and submit your data. It's protected, and it's a private portal for each company to submit their data. So we're going to get reminders on this every week. We eventually will be closing the study. We're not there yet. We'd love to have great participation so we can together tell a better story based upon data and not stories on what a career in pro beauty really looks like. My light bulb moment this week is something I could take an entire session on, and it has to do with 13 weeks. And this, let's talk about the number 13 for a moment. I'm fascinated with the number 13. 13, though, gets a bad rap. In fact, at most elevators, you can't even get off on the 13th floor because it's so taboo. There's an entire day that's themed around fear, Friday the 13th. So 13 gets a bad rap. For the record, though, 13 is one of the numbers of beauty. For those of you that follow beauty in numbers and symmetry, there's a code that relates to things we see as beautiful, and it's sort of an eerie, not eerie, it's a really kind of cool concept, the number 13. But the reason I'm bringing it up is that I am being hit over the head again and again about this time frame. And you're going to see at the Phil how 13 weeks has a much more relevant part of our identity. The research is overwhelming in terms of small business success and incremental growth, and how quarterly increments are a key success factor. It's buried in the methodology of some of the very best business systems that we're also familiar with, but no one's really pulled it out. So expect to hear more about the number 13 coming up, because it's a really cool and exciting way for you to grow and make jumps in a very proactive, natural way, so that before you know it, over a period of years, you've doubled your business, you've made quantum leaps and eliminating all the gaps. So it's a very structured way to look at execution. More on that later. Today, what we want to talk about is the Impact Award winners. And we have multiple categories. We have profit, we have execution, growth. For the record, this is sales growth, leadership, and engagement. And I believe Candace maybe have joined us. And Candace is going to be a little bit part of this conversation. Good morning, Candace. How are you? I think she's just coming on, literally, after dropping. I assume you just dropped Forrest off and he's off to school and everything's good?
I did. He's there. He's on time. I'm here.
All right.
Ready to go.
So I'm going to go through each of the winners, and I am just so inspired by reading these applications, Candace, and I'm blown away. I went through all of them this morning, every single one, and we're going to do today is I'm going to go through highlights of the winners, and then as time permits at the end, I think we'll invite people to the mic that joined us. I'd love to do it where we go through the name of the business and then allow them the mic, but I want to make sure we get through all 15 of these that we celebrate. Now, Candace, before I go through who the winners are, let's share a little bit about what we're doing at the Phil, and out of these 15 winners, what you're really involved with right now.
Yeah, well, some of our winners had all of our winners had amazing stories. And so a few of them are going to be our conversation starters for our roundtable breakouts at the Phil. And so I've had the pleasure of meeting with quite a few of them so far, not everybody yet. I'm getting through each winner. And to really take a deep dive into the transformation that they made within their business and see, what their starting point was, where the gap and the challenge was, and the action that they took to be able to close that gap. And I'm telling you, I'm so inspired of so many ideas to share with my own community. And it's pretty phenomenal to see how everybody has used these tools and systems to make such a powerful impact within their business.
There's some heroic results. I mean, these are heroes on the front line that are small business owners dealing with complexity, dealing with human capital issues, and it's not easy. And it's, I think that we need to acknowledge and celebrate more, but not false celebration. Celebration that's really based upon making an impact. So here's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to go through the winners by submission date. When they actually submitted the application. I'll tell you why I want to do that, because it's going to be easier for me because I printed out all the submissions and that's the order they come in. So I did organize the deck so we can do that. So let's first of all go through the first winner, actually the first one to submit an application, and that is Verde Salon Group, which also is celebrates our neighbors to the north, because this is a Canadian company. I believe that Colleen and Roberto might have joined us today. So congratulations. It's in Winnipeg. They have 2 locations. They also own a school. But let me go through a little bit about their application. And I'm going to try to get through a special with each one. So, all right, here's some things that jumped out. So some of the words that I'm just reading directly from their application in most cases. So under execution, they said many creative ideas and grandiose plans we have dreamed up during our weekly strategy meetings. The challenge was our execution of these initiatives would par at best. Are they alone with this? I highly doubt it. Colleen said, staring in front of her computer, thanks for your transparency, becoming so overwhelmed, have no idea where to begin. A lot of the tools seem daunting, but really, and she does give great credit to her Qnity coach, Jody. She was able to implement changes in small steps. Before they knew it, their business was running like a well-oiled machine. Let's celebrate some of their accomplishments. They created a successful hiring process that streamlines recruitment, interviewing, and hiring new team members, including 3 pre-planned visits with each class throughout their time at the school. Second is a system of communication between marketing, leadership, and operations, where everyone knows their role and process. We have events, promotions, etc. Third, they've almost finalized, and perhaps they've done it by now, a brand new talent onboarding training program that had been discussed for the last 2 years, but felt too daunting. Next, big one, they hired an assistant salon experience manager, and the owner was able to spend his time growing and moving to school location without interruptions. 8 seasons, 5 functions, 13-week planner. And they also reported huge financial growth that allowed them to hire a full-time content creator, an assistant salon experience manager. Now, they also submitted under leadership and some other things, and they highlighted growth of team members in the leadership roles. But that's Verde. Hopefully I can get every through. Any comments about that one, Candace, before I go on to the next one?
I just think it's incredible to see how they, yes, they were using the tools, but they used them to really make their vision for their business come to life, and to have so many impactful like initiatives that really were completed with great results, I think is just huge. So great work. Congratulations to you all. Seriously amazing.
All right. The next one, I'm going to do very briefly because Studio B was featured. So they won under profitability, and I want to provide a little context around profitability. They were featured as a special episode, I think 3 weeks ago. So all you have to do for a deeper dive into this one is listen to the episode we did with Sue, but she also had Vish and Heath Smith on there to really talk about a great initiative. Now, as it relates to winners, I want to provide some clarity. Our evaluation of impact was based upon before and after. And I think that probably a lot of us would say we're never satisfied with our profitability. What we're calling out is an improvement in profitability that's very discernible. And what they did is they added a third revenue stream and added about 4% to the bottom line. 9-grid, 13-week tracker, 8 seasons, 13 weeks. That 13 weeks keeps coming up. 13 weeks, Candace. 13 weeks keeps coming up. Anyway, so they we're talking another $500,000 in sales. And quarterly touch bases, quarterly newsletters were key for them. So Studio B, big shout out. I want to go to the next one. Next one is a new member of our community, Candace, and it's Hollywood Hair. I'm sorry, back to Studio B here for a moment. They're based in Colorado. They have 5 locations. Sue Aarons is the El Presidente. And then they have other great members of the leadership team. So Studio B, Colorado. Hollywood Hair is when's under leadership. They're in Illinois, and they're relatively new to our community, Candace. And what's really cool about them is it's a company of 4 owners, and they really used a lot of tools and systems to really grow as a leadership team of owners, because I can imagine that'd be hard with 4 owners like that. Quarterly touch-ins, quarterly newsletter, celebrating anniversaries. So what they found is that let's see here. When I go to leadership, if you'll forgive me for a moment. Okay. They figured out it takes a village to operate 3 successful businesses. They've learned the importance, what the important initiatives are, spiriting growth, and they're staying in 5 functions, utilizing 8 season planner and executing what's important. So what they've noticed is tremendous impact as it relates to leadership and engagement. And acing was a big part of that, team retreats, et cetera. So Hollywood Hair, leadership. All right, next one. Candace, you might have some comments on this one, okay? All right. So next one is also under engage. I'd love to read the chat right now because I think these people need a lot of shout outs. The next one is breaking new ground a little bit, and it has to do with engage. And this is Inspire Greatness. And what this is our first school winner. And they are based in multiple states, multiple schools. They also own a spa, 6 locations. And Carrie Perkins, very, very important member of our community, a mentor I know to you, Candace. As many of us know, a year ago went over there, and she is just doing a heck of a job with engagement. Not her, she wouldn't say her, she would say the team. They made a decision to reimagine the student experience from day one. They wanted to create an anchor point that would carry students through the whole program. They reimagined, love the word reimagined, by the way, the educational workshop right before they go on to clinic 4. Day 1, They do a storyboard 9 grid with a simple introduction, how they get to know each other. And they did Q plans, starting to connect with their dreams, their why, et cetera, on day 1. They did created a 6-week program that goes through the 3 whys. In other words, why you should even pay attention to numbers and why being coached by numbers is cool. Q plans. And they actually, I'll be darned if they introduced trackers while in school, and it created ownership and accountability. And, but here's the big one, okay? The most immediate impact was using the inner circle with students. They taught them how to use the tool and the concept of asking. Everybody's afraid to ask. Did role playing. As a result, all right, here's the punchline. The impact was astonishing. 100% of the class had their first week on the clinic floor booked, their first week in the industry booked. Amazing. Candace?
I just think that's incredible. I remember, when I was in beauty school, it's like, I was so wrapped up in the technical side of things, and also, just kind of overwhelmed and in a whole new territory, and to be able to get clear and focused and set goals and have a really clear path for what needs to happen to be successful that early on is just huge. And it's got to drive, a lot of excitement and inspiration. And, it's no surprise that Carrie was able to, I think when I was reading her application, she said, we Qnified our business. And of course she did. And I'm so happy to see that she's getting amazing results and, really touching the lives of all these students. So incredible work.
I think it's good. I think what they're doing is good for the industry, because what they're doing is they're teaching students how to be entrepreneurs. My personal experience and opinion is too many go solo too fast. Mm-hmm. And they get sold a bill of goods and they're still learning their craft. It's the rare individual that has a better opportunity going solo than being an entrepreneur. And so what this does is it also teaches entrepreneurship. Okay, next. I would love to have like an hour conversation with all of them. I'm jealous because you get to help prep them for these sessions. Okay. Next.
Pretty cool.
Under growth. Liz and Jess Arundel from Luscious & Co. Now, I know they're not, they're actually sisters, they're twins. And they came to the Phil last year with other members of their team. Please forgive me. And I know there's another very important member of their team that I'm forgetting her name. If someone knows it, thank you for that. So they would be quick to say that their success really came through all of them. All right, so let's go through this one. Their impact is in growth, but it touched on execution, profitability, et cetera. So they use the Profit and Actions Planner to build confidence to execute with their finance manager. They had a proactive approach to the finance function. And since creating the Profit and Action Planner, Candace, you're going to love this, they work weekly and monthly as a leadership team to identify areas of opportunity. It simplified goal setting tremendously. They created a spreadsheet to identify changing peak times and setting schedules and headcount. Their money management improved tremendously with attention to weekly P&L reviews, 9 grids to establish areas of savings and investments to increase profitability, allowed them to I love this one, stop creating ideas, start implementing change. Mm-hmm. Kind of a good soundbite, but I didn't even get to the growth part of what this is about. All right, so the growth part is what they did is they had their best year ever. They created a custom growth plan for each stylist. Punchline, the revenue grew by 30%. Client count increased 38% with a 33% increase in appointments year over year. And it exceeded their year over year trajectory by 20%. 9 grids, 5 functions planner. They also brought Money Pro into their benefits package, which opened the door for their team around financial literacy. And engagement is probably the biggest result, even though we honored them for growth. And so, and you know them, you might have some
I
comments.
do. I've had the pleasure of working with them, in the Money SBO workshop and one-on-one in coaching. And just it has to be said, the twins and Winona, just incredible leadership, very, very deeply caring and genuine approach to leading their team. And I know that their whole team can feel how much they care about each individual, and to be able to sit down with each person and create a really customized plan for how they want to grow and thrive in their career, and ultimately growing, the salons. It was really, really incredible and inspiring work. So I love you guys. You guys did such an amazing job. Well deserved.
So they are in Connecticut and have 2 locations. And next one this is a familiar member of our community, and this is Gadabout, which Megan is so doggone amazing. I read the application. I mean, every single entry she had for every gap was inspiring, informative, whatever. And ultimately, though, where what really jumped out at us was profitability. And this one was extremely intriguing to me, Candace, when I read this, because they attributed the compensation study to increased profitability. Now, for the record, credit needs to be given where credit's due. It really was early adopters, including Gadabout, Citrus, Ruiz, and Mitchell's, that really inspired the compensation project. So got to give a shout out for that light bulb moment by Megan and the rest of you. But anyway, so they did in 2022, they did a 1-page financial snapshot with each W-2 and additional employer paid benefits. This year, they took a more simplified visual approach in small steps and set up one-on-one meetings with every service provider to share the visual about their compensation, and to essentially show actually how rich it is. It's a very rich compensation package. And so it helped to evolve the conversation, given industry benchmarks to see, how they're doing. Having the compensation study infographic on hand during the conversation gives validity to why this conversation is important and impactful, and gives us the opportunity to share the benefits they are receiving by working as a team, team-based company. They use the word team-based, and how I use it, I use team-based, not in the branded team-based for our friends over at Strategy, but team-based in the literal word. Here's the punchline, though. Interestingly enough, from a P&L perspective, during these compensation conversations, we have not had one single service provider ask for an increase in commission. They asked how they can make more, and they're sharing ways for the team to make more, but having the conversations and sharing the package is making the conversation about how they can make more by working smarter. Not the old school mindset is to get a commission raise. I could go on and on about Gadabout. They also did 13-week trackers. They hired 48 new employees, 30 of which are still with them today. They've done some amazing things. So.
Yeah, I just want to say, the compensation study was so interesting to have all of that information. And then the question was, okay, what do we do with this information? How do we use it, to strengthen our business? And, they're a perfect example of, using it to show not only that their compensation package is so rich, but that there's so much opportunity in this industry in a team-based environment. And so I love that. I was super inspired. I want to do that now too.
Gadabout, for the record, is in Tucson, Arizona. They have 6 locations, and not only do they have a very talented ownership and leadership team, they happen to be great friends, the Jaspers and the Westerbeeks. And so far, everybody that we've honored is attending to fill. In fact, everybody we're going to go through today, except for one company, can't make it. Let's get to the next one. I hope I'm moving at a quick enough pace. Candace, you better give me some feedback if I need to pick it up or slow it down, whatever. Am I doing okay, guys? Somebody give me a thumbs up. We good?
We're
All
good.
right.
It's hard to keep it brief because there's so many amazing stories, but
there is.
we'll get through it. We'll get through it.
The next category is engage, and this is Devante Salons and Spas. They are in Denton, Texas. They have 2 locations, Tracy Herring and Melody and Kippen. Just great humans. Doesn't really surprise me because they are so intentional in what they do. Big focus this year has been engagement, but a direct result is growth. All right, so here we go. And they developed a tool really inspired by, simple and visual that contributed to a 29% increase in total sales. They shared a lot about their guest care team, but let me share some other specifics about engagement. Oh, I love this. The focus on engagement resulted in 38% improved employee retention and 26% improved guest retention. The transformative results came with their guest care team. I'm dying to dig deeper into guest care. Everybody wants to talk about guest care, and it's nice to really have one, that really centered on that. They're often overlooked. And so what they did is they quantified the work of the guest care team in terms of sales and effort, created some trackers. They say the guest care team is now engaged and supporting each other's success. They also introduced a bonus program to the team, which has been a long-term goal, helped them recruit best of the best guest care team members. My gosh, we should do just a session on this. We also know that engagement begins on the first day service providers join their new talent education program. So they now have they use the 13-week planner, no surprise there, for their new talent training program, and it's proven to be very successful. The 13-week planner gives both the educators and the trainees the big picture of what they will be expected every week. Darn. Okay. Next. Kiss, Kiss, Bang, Bang. I think Tanya rearranged her schedule to join us today. Doggone it. We should at least give her the mic at some point at the end here. Okay, but let me get through their submission. Kiss, Kiss, Bang, Bang. Tanya and Stephanie, they're down in Indiana. They have 2 locations. And they had some great submissions in their execution. They talked about the 5 functions planner, the 13-week tracker. And they said getting in the habit of using them was a bit of a challenge. And one thing they did is they entered a sales tournament. I'll reveal a brand. There's Kevin Murphy. There's a Kevin Murphy sales challenge, and they wanted to be in the top 3 globally and #1 in all of North America. By executing a plan ahead of time, setting goals, and working backwards, they were able to achieve that goal. Wow, that's a big win. A big win for the team. That's a big win, period. That's not even why we called you out on here. We called you out around engagement. All right. Team leaders helping to guide other teammates on best practices, ACE, 9 grids, Q plans, etc. Made a big impact. Quarterly meetings, here we come back to that 13-week cycle. Team leaders really enjoying ACE. Q plans on the one-on-ones made a big difference. And she was not shy in acknowledging, and we will also acknowledge the help that she got out of her coach, Jody Ohama. So big shout out to Kiss, Kiss, Bang, Bang. Great people. All right, next. Profitability. And this is Pure Salon in Kentucky. Laura Watkins is the owner, but she also gives a lot of credit to Jennifer from her team. And they won under profitability because, and she made some big chunks. Her profit before owner's salary was 2%. And now, looking at the first quarter, it was 14%. And she added EEK next to it. Like, my God, that's pretty amazing. So from 2 to 14.4%. Began a 1% transfer in July of 21, increased to 3%. And she now has an accumulation in her transfer account and has some liquidity. And she gave herself a raise at the beginning of the year. Higher profit, higher owner pay, more time. And so finance was in the bottom of her priorities. She thought she needed to get it figured out before involving her manager, Jennifer. That changed. And she said she decided to let go and let Jennifer. I kind of like that one. Let go and let Jennifer. That's her soundbite. I remember Candace. She attended Money SBO last September and gained a better understanding of the finance function and apply the principles to their business. They completed the Profit and Action Planner, created and implemented systems, projected sales, set operating budgets 2 to 4 seasons in advance, did week in, week out meetings, much more intentional, course corrected if quicker. And they also got their team involved with growth and had some very, very healthy growth, got more involved in the schools, added team members, et cetera.
Yeah, I just have to just give a shout out to both of them. You know, Laura and I were talking yesterday as we were preparing for conversation starters, and she said, well, before it was pretty much I was in my own way, you know, I didn't want to do this. And she said something that I think is really important for everybody to hear. She felt like she needed to have the finance function mastered before she could share it with somebody else. And I think it was you, Tom, that encouraged her to kind of move through that limiting belief and have Jennifer get involved and start learning how to really steer that function of the business. And Jennifer has done such an incredible job. And they, I mean, talk about mastering forward focus. They have such a strong grasp on what's going to happen within their business. She was just telling me yesterday, you know, she used to look at the numbers at the end of the month and say, okay, well, here it is, I guess. And now they know if they're off course within a couple of days and they can course correct, and they have so much more control and predictability. So shout out to you guys going from being nervous about this to really having a really great grasp on it. Amazing work.
Nice. And I think we're, I don't know how far along we are, but well, let me just get to the next one. And this is the only group that will not be at the Phil because of a conflict, and that is Eden Salon and Spa, led by Jan Hill and other great members of the leadership team. I believe Carrie, right? So Eden Salon and Spa is in Oklahoma City. They have one location, and you know, one of the things she mentioned is that they brought in Ally Health as a benefit to their team, and it made a huge positive culture. She said she's been transparent about personal things she's had. So I could go on about this. This isn't her submission, so, but it's a little bit personal in terms of the importance of that to her team and what it meant to her. And I think it was a demonstration of leadership, being more tactile in terms of her submission here. She said the year began with a dramatic increase across all the trackers. They celebrated our 40th year in business as a luxury legacy brand. They implemented VISH to support a pending price increase, incentivized retail with a bonus program. The biggest leadership shift was introducing coaching conversations 2 times per season to stay engaged with our team, and the numbers went up. They used 8 seasons calendar, 5 functions, and calendarized team engagement. So shout out to Jan and Carrie and the team, and awesome.
Amazing.
All right, next we have Willow. Oh, we love Kat. Kat Mueller is the owner. She's based in Rapid City, South Dakota. I remember Kat, when she was an ambassador, member of our community almost 10 years ago, stylist in Colorado, moved to be with her partner of choice, her husband. And now they have this awesome business in South Dakota, and she's very into the 13-week planner. They're setting aside money every week. She no longer feels nervous week to week that their numbers are where they need to be. She uses her 13-week planner to track when she's doing tasks. And she has a 40-week streak on setting money aside. Pretty amazing. So weekly transfer from the 13-week planner. They had 10 to 20% growth each month compared to last year, same month. And her biggest success is in leadership, allowing others to help create systems and implement the systems. Examples with 9-gridding their onboarding process, revamping their inventory system, gave control planning, busy wedding season to a leader. Each person assures that communication happens 4 ways to their team members. They use 9 grids, 8 seasons, 13-week planners, and 4 times 4 ways. Plans out seasonal meetings. And she said that in spite of so much turnover, they have been immune to turnover. It's a good one, isn't it?
Awesome. That is
All right. BHD, which was formerly Bad Hair Day. This is Lisa Carr. We all love Lisa. She's based in Michigan. And boy, she had some really good stuff here. I've got to summarize it as best I can. Prior to using 9 grids, she had a lot of ideas and plans that would help make the business stand out. The problem is most of those ideas made it past our imagination due to never being able to get them out of our heads into actual functioning system. Every project, large and small, is now broken down into manageable and concise steps. She talked about planning out seasonal meetings, focusing on the positive and the fun. She said, with how much turnover the industry has, I don't think it'd be reality to retain our staff as well as they have with the positive changes we made since 2020. We're so proud of our team. They decided to focus more on treatments, and they were able to grow their treatments per stylist by 20% on average. And she had a bunch of other good stuff here. Actually, let me read this one, and I'm going to move on to the next one. They lost their 2 top service providers to wanting to stay at home with their children. They understood the need to quit, but was very worried how we're going to deal with that missed revenue. They knew the only way to grow. They need a new way to grow. The team was confused by percentages and unmotivated to push for anything. They introduced weekly 2-number growth, and growth began to explode. In the last year, they've been able to grow their total revenue by over 22%. I've never been able to finally pay myself what I deserve for all my hard work, and my stylists have never made so much money, and I've never been so happy. God, you got to love that one, right?
And this team is just so engaged with their tracking. Lisa let me be on their private Facebook page, and I get to see them every week talking about their growth and posting pictures of their tracker. So she really brought this to life, and you know, you can see the results she's getting are definitely proof of that.
Next, we have growth for Joe and Karen DeAnda from Trios in Fort Collins, Colorado, 1 location. Regulars on Light Bulb Moments hopefully are joined us today, so we can give them a big shout out. And this application was quite amazing. So I'm going to read this one here. So we did the work of implementing new changes and coaching sessions that were actually the life preserver we needed as we pulled ourselves from the deep waters of turbulence into a reasonable place of being in charge and moving forward with intentional direction. Boy, that's well worded, Joe. All right. I'm assuming Joe did that. Maybe you did, Karen. We could give the end results and sum up with the stats, but the process is valuable to acknowledge how their coaching sessions were part of the plumb line that helped them through the storm of losing 60% of our long-term employees and assistant manager to make an action of rebuilding the new team. So they lost 8 long-term employees, 2 new talent. So they did coaching, onboarding, training. They addressed guest care. As business owners, we keep the pace of moving forward without reflecting the day-to-day celebrations and accomplishments. With Qnity in the past, it was more about the heart than the head. This year, they did the head part of implementing tools and coaching sessions. And here's the punchline. Because of this focused attention to growth and adding new team members, not to mention improved systems, we're projecting a 20 to 25% growth this year over last year. Finally, it's coming back together. They acknowledge the Profit in Action Planner. They acknowledge ACing, Caught You Doing Right cards, guest care. Oh my God, are they sharing it to Phil? I certainly hope so. So, all right, Trios. Great job. Cloud9. 1 location, Melissa Kilo, just such a great lady down in Tempe, Arizona. Very big location, more of a spa. And so they let me see here. It all started with she called it the 17% tracker. After a few weeks, staff enthusiasm spread at the suggestion of her coach, Michelle Savell. She began to ace them each week. Great job, Michelle. Next, she started using the 13-week tracker to chart progress for the apprentice program, gave much greater structure. She also used 8 seasons, the best organizer for my spa ever, raised prices. She's now contributing Tuesday transfers. And she switched over to Lightheart Sanders because she saw the finance function need a little bit of work. So I'm very happy, but she sums it up. She leads from the head, leads from the heart as much as possible. As a former stylist, I can emphasize with the many problems of issues for their staff. And she felt that 4 times 4 ways, quarterly meetings, offering benefits made a really big difference. I think we only have one more. I love Cloud9. It's great. Last but not least is So Chic, Debbie Marr, Amanda Hare, Jennifer Barber, Julia, the whole team down there in Georgia, 7 locations. Congratulations to you guys. So Chic consists of Bob Steele and W. Daly. And I believe that Debbie was the author of the submission on behalf of the team. And so this is for execution. Here's what she said. The salon industry often runs on the tyranny of the urgent. A stylist calls out sick, customer demands our attention, internet stops working, or an order isn't received. They reintroduced the 13-week planner and started breaking projects into weekly tasks to help the managers stay focused. It eliminated the frantic crunch time at the end of the season. And as one of the managers said, Maria, it's amazing how much more time I have when I do a little bit each week towards 8 seasons project. I don't get overwhelmed. It's like I have so much more time now to be creative with my team and do some of the fun things. No more worrying that I'm forgetting something. I just check my 13-week planner and even work ahead some weeks. It's really helped my team. That was a great submission too. All right, 49 minutes after the hour. Let's give all of these guys a big virtual round of applause here. You all deserve a special light bulb. You will soon be getting your Impact Award. And Candace, I feel like every single one of them I'd like to spend an afternoon around.
It's pretty amazing to take a deeper dive into some of these submissions. Like, you know, I've got to talk to Debbie actually from So Chic yesterday. And again, so inspired, so many amazing ideas. So just to make sure everybody understands, the breakouts at the Phil that are roundtables are going to feature conversation starters. So you're going to be able to hear a little bit more about many of the winners' experiences and what they implemented in their business to find success. And you're going to have the opportunity to ask them questions and really have a very intimate, interactive conversation with them at these roundtables. So keep an eye out for that. The roundtables are labeled leadership and engagement, and we will talk about leadership and engagement, but winners from all of the gaps are going to be involved. So use your app to sign up for those for sure.
So I'm going to see if Tanya Foster, if we could give her the mic, and we're not going to be able to get to everybody, but let's see if you can join us for a moment. I do want to acknowledge the people that are on the call that are part of organizations that won. Colleen from Verde. We've also got Jan Hill join us. Good morning, Jan. Jessica, I believe, is Hollywood Hair. Jody, thanks for joining us. Julia from So Chic. Carrie from Eden. Laura from Pure, Lisa Carr from BHD. Looks like we do have Liz from Luscious on there. We have Megan from Gadabout. We have Melissa from Cloud9. Michael Shea, I just want to say hi to you. You didn't win anything, but you didn't submit either. Maybe next year anyway. But we will see you down at the Phil, Michael. Roberto from Verde. Sue Aarons, hi Sue from Studio B, and Tracy from Devante. So good morning, ladies. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I figured as long as you reschedule the meeting this morning, we better bring you to the mic if we bring anybody. Congratulations. I loved your submission.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jody, for moving our appointment out an hour.
I've gotten to know both of you the last couple of years, and implementing a new system for a dynamic, growing business like yours that's very aspirational. I love your vulnerability in terms of it wasn't easy at the start, but shout out to you guys for just sticking with things. Is there anything you want to highlight in what I shared in your application?
We are just so glad that we came on board, because when you're a salon that by industry standards are already doing really well, or you think you're doing really well, and then you get into this, it's like picking up a new tool to cut hair. Man, we looked really good from afar. You know what I mean? So being able to use these tools has really helped us get more intentional. We've learned a lot about ourselves. Jody pushes us in such a great way that we needed, because we knew we had taken our business as far as we could. And just how we are with our team is night and day difference from what we were prior to starting this.
Stephanie, anything to add?
Yeah, no, I agree with all of that. Yeah, it's been an awesome experience. So, I look forward to continuing to grow and for our team and with our team. So
Awesome. Well, listen, I know you changed your schedule to be here. Thanks for joining us. I also know Liz. No, Liz has to hop off. Let's see here, maybe from someone we don't normally get to hear from. Colleen from Verde. Why don't we give you the mic? We'll see about some other people. Jan, let's just kind of see what we can do here. Laura, Lisa, just give everybody the mic here, and we'll just do a little free for all at the end, okay? I will promise you guys that we will wrap up at 59 minutes after the hour, but what an opportunity to get to hear. So Colleen, good morning. Congratulations. How are you? Let's get you off
muted. Great.
Not only were you a winner, and Roberto's on here too. Good morning, Roberto. Thanks for taking your precious time, you guys, to join us. But you were the first one to submit the application. Now,
I saw
by
that.
the way, I'm going to throw this one out. Normally, Megan usually is the first one to do the application, but
I like to win.
Well, your submission. And what I loved about yours, Colleen, is that it sort of blended in a lot of the different gaps, but ultimately it was the execution. So if your moment of fame here, you'll have a little bit more of a moment of fame at Phil, but any words so I can get to some other people here?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of a similar thing to what a lot of people are saying, and that creative people tend to just have their head up in the clouds sometimes. And it's unbelievable to have like the tools that actually force you to break things down into small pieces that are just so manageable. And it seems like a simple thing, but sometimes someone needs to hand you something and then look at you and be like, this is what you need to do. And we've just seen such amazing growth since then, all around. And we just love Qnity. We tell everybody about Qnity, and it's the best, and go to the Phil. So
well, we love you too. Lisa from Michigan.
Hello.
Do you have a quick word for us?
Actually, I look awful and my surroundings are kind of ugly because I'm at my cottage at the lake, which I get to do a lot of now because of you guys.
Amen. I would rather see you at the cottage, to be honest with you. The only other place I'd rather see you at the other than the cottage would be at the Phil, which we're going to already see you at the Phil. So that's wonderful. Thanks for your submission and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Jan, we're going to miss you this year. I'm going to go to Jan, then we're going to go over to Laura here, and then we're going to get to Tracy, and then we're going to wrap it up. So Jan, we'll miss you this year. Totally understand. But 40 years of business, huh?
Yep, 41.
Excuse me, I underestimated your length of service. And, it's not easy to have a business that's around that number of years and to keep it fresh and what have you. It seems like you're pushing the envelope. You're always striving for more, and I appreciate that about you.
Thank you. I think it's because I love young people and seeing them grow.
Laura, what you did is, I remember having conversations with you about your finance function, and you're such a passionate owner, and you're also such a passionate person in terms of giving back and all of that. And I was especially inspired by you know, the category you won in, which was profitability, and what that's done
too.
for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's really incredible considering how much I have struggled with this function for so long. And Candace and I talked yesterday, it sounds so simple what we did, but simple is not always easy. So just getting Jennifer involved and letting go, and that's been the best thing for us. She's on top of it. She loves doing it. And so it's such a relief and a burden that's been lifted off of my shoulders, which feels amazing.
Outstanding. Tracy from Devontae, Denton, Texas. Congratulations. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Tom. So we are so excited to be in this winner's circle this year. And many of you know that I am a virtual owner. I live 350 miles away from my salons. And I love what I've heard on here from other owners, that you're being allowed to kind of step back, you know, from your business a little bit and enjoy your life. And I think it was Pure Salon that said, you know, she had to get out of the way of her leadership team. And that was has been a big lesson for me over the last couple of years. And it's hard to let go, especially, you know, if you're kind of a little bit of a control person like I am. So, but it has, they've amazed me what they've been able to do with the Qnity tools and the approach. And yeah, we're in a good spot.
Let's give a virtual shout out to all of these guys, and so appreciate you also coming to the mic here. I'm determined to end on time here. But please continue the virtual applause for all of them. Reminder, we have the Ventla app. You should download this if you're coming to the Phil. We are auctioning off certain things as part of a Beauty Changes Lives fundraiser. It is open, including personal portraits that are available for auction from a world-class portrait photographer, David Rakulia. And then also, I'm going to get to another one. Janet Williams is going to share a very, very special talent of hers. And so check this out on the auction app to see about bringing Janet into your business. Save the dates. The Phil is coming up here. Don't forget about Aaron's Money O2 podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Candace, thanks for tuning in early this morning. She already probably had to tune off. And we will see all of you next week. Thanks again for joining us, and congratulations to the Impact Award winners. Bye now.